Are you a cupcake obsessed maniac? Well, if you are, you've come to the right place. I've gathered together some of my favorite cupcake recipes in this very video. A molten cupcake with raspberries on the inside, a classic chocolate cupcake. Whatever you want, we've got it here. Check it out. Today's recipe is fun. It's a peanut butter filled cupcake. Chocolate cupcake filled with basically a peanut butter frosting made with peanut butter and marshmallow fluff. You are gonna love it. Everybody loved it when we made it here in the kitchen. It's really delicious. And the base of it is a simple chocolate cake. I'm mixing all of my dry ingredients right in my mixer bowl because you just add all the ingredients to the bowl and mix it together. That was 1.5 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, and to that I'm adding 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, and then 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of fine salt. If you're using coarse salt the way I often do, double the amount of salt. Whisk all your dry ingredients together. You can easily do this by hand. In fact, it's quite easy to whisk it by hand if you wanted to. I throw it on the mixer just because I have it, but don't feel like you can't make this cake if you don't have one of these standing mixers. To your mixer, add 2 large eggs. You can start your mixer. Add 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk, 3/4 of a cup of warm water, and 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You could also use melted butter. I do that a lot of the times if I want to, but vegetable oil does give a really nice texture to the cupcakes that you don't quite get with the butter. It's a flavor versus texture thing, so it's your choice. This is a sprayed and then I dusted with cocoa powder muffin tin. It's a standard muffin tin and I'm not lining it with muffin liner. Have your oven preheating to 350 degrees and then fill your cupcakes about 2/3 of the way full. This will take about 20 minutes to bake. They should spring back when lightly touched. When the cupcakes have cooled on a rack, you want to remove some of the bottom. So use a melon baller to scoop out a piece. Save this piece because you're going to plug it up afterwards because you're going to fill it and then plug it up. So remove some of that and then just scoop out a little bit more. This part you don't have to save, just so there's room for the peanut butter filling. Then just pipe some filling into each cupcake. And then put the little plug that you took out back in. Boom. And then a little final touch, how about some powdered sugar? Such a beautiful presentation, don't you think? Get your ovens preheating to 350 degrees because you're gonna wanna make this recipe ASAP. It's an Oreo cookie filled cupcake with a raspberry fluff frosting. How ridiculously delicious does that sound? So ridiculously delicious that I'm gonna make it right now. In this bowl I have a cup of all-purpose flour. To that I'm adding 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, a cup of granulated sugar. Whisk until the little lumps of cocoa powder are pretty much completely broken up. You're gonna add some liquid later that will dissolve them anyway, but err on the side of caution when it comes to whisking. Add 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of fine salt. If you're using coarse salt, a kosher salt, you can use 1/2 teaspoon, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Now this is where you really wanna whisk it. You wanna make sure that your leaveners are fully dispersed in your dry ingredient mixture. So just whisk just a little bit more than you think you need to. For the wet ingredients, I have 1 large egg and an egg yolk, 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Before I add too much more, I'm gonna break up that 1 large egg, whisk it with the buttermilk, 2 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter, 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 1/2 cup of hot water. Then you combine your wet ingredients with your dry ingredients and your cupcake batter is done. I just love a cupcake batter or a cake batter or a quick bread or anything that you can just whisk together in a bowl without getting out the machine. So make sure that you get rid of all of the lumps when you're whisking. I have a standard muffin tin lined with baking cups. What you want to do is if you have a scoop that's really small, you can use a scoop, otherwise use a tablespoon. Put a tablespoon of batter into each of the cups. I like to use a scoop because it keeps me nice and clean. Then take one Oreo or other cream-filled chocolate sandwich cookie and put it into the batter. So these cookies are going to bake into your cupcakes, and they're going to be a fantastic surprise in there that no one will know is in there until they take a bite. And then they're going to be amazed. Top with another tablespoon of the batter. Make sure you use up all of your batter, so go back in and add the rest. There's a little bit extra. Then bake your cupcakes until they're puffed and set. That should take about 15 minutes. When your cupcakes are cool, you can make your frosting. In this bowl, I have 2 sticks of unsalted room temp butter, and to that, add 3 tablespoons of seedless raspberry jam. If you don't mind seeds in your frosting, you can use the seeded kind, but I think it's better if it's smooth. Beat those together till they're combined. Then you can add your marshmallow cream, 3 cups of it marshmallow cream. Good luck getting it out of the container and into the bowl. I mean, you can do it, but it's gonna be messy. And then 1/3 cup of confectioner's sugar. And beat those to combine until they're creamy and smooth. And then frost away. Adorable, right? Today's recipe is for all of you chocolate lovers out there in the world, and I know there are lots of you. It's a molten chocolate cake. I don't know if you've ever made molten chocolate cake, but it's really, really simple, and all you need are 6 ingredients. In this bowl, I have 1/2 cup of sugar and 6 tablespoons of room temperature unsalted butter. Cream together your butter and sugar until they're light and fluffy. Then you add your eggs one at a time. Add 4 eggs, beating to combine after each addition, nice and combined. Last egg. Beat it in, and then after that, add 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour and a pinch of salt, and then beat that in. So this isn't a flourless cake, but it's very little flour. And then add 11 ounces of melted and cooled semi-sweet chocolate. That's what makes it so delicious. Beat that in, and then they're ready to bake. I just want to eat that now. I've already lined my muffin tins with baking liners and preheated my oven to 400 degrees. And then you're gonna put a couple of raspberries in the center. You could use strawberry as well if you'd like. Then put the remaining batter on top, so divide the remaining batter between the 9. Oh, this makes 9. I don't know if I said that. The messier you are, the more you get to eat before it's baked. Don't worry if they're a little bit lumpy on the top. They'll smooth out in the oven. I had my oven preheating to 400 degrees, and these need to bake until they're just set on top, about 9 minutes. These are puffed and ready. I'm supposed to let them sit here for 10 minutes. I don't know if I can, but I'll let them sit for a second. Otherwise, I will definitely burn my mouth, okay? I'm gonna busy myself by getting a utensil. All right, I'll take the small one out. I think it's cold enough. I think I need 2. What do you think? I'm just kidding. Sprinkle it with a little confectioner's sugar for a little final finesse. And then I'm definitely gonna open this up and show you what it looks like, because that's what's so great about these. It's amazing. It's just like in a restaurant. It was so easy. You're gonna be celebrating all of your special occasions at home with this dessert instead of going out. I think so. Oh my gosh. It's like the most decadent, most delicious cupcake you will ever have. These are a surefire win.